Feedback management is something we get a lot of questions about, and rightly so, because feedback is due within 24 hours and your time is your money. So you don't want to be spending a whole bunch of time outside of class writing feedback. So here are some tips for effective feedback submission. So essentially what I do, and my favorite tip to streamline my feedback process, is to have a Word document open with a feedback template that I created. This was not given to me by the company, but I'll show you my example on the next slides that you can also create your own. What I do in class is I type sentences that the students make as they're saying them, because I'm a fast typer and I'm able to do that, and then I will copy paste them into my notes in my feedback template. And that way, after class, I can review them, know exactly what I want to talk about in each section of feedback, and I am able to fill in the blanks with all the extra padding and words, but have the specific examples related to the student and their lesson. Because let's face it, if you're like me, you have a memory like a goldfish, and even if you don't, after 5 or 6 students in a row, you're not going to remember what words they got wrong, what words they had difficulty pronouncing, and sometimes you won't even remember the specific conversations that you had with them, which is why the notes that you take on the back of these guys is particularly important. If you are not a fast typer, then you can always use voice recognition software. Also good for very loud typers like me. There's a very good free version by Google Forms or something similar to that that you can download off the internet, and it's very easy. It functions the same as your voice notes on your phone when you just hit the little microphone button, and as you talk, it writes out the words for you. So do use something similar to that if it'll help you. Now here's the example of what the feedback template looks like. So for my student Jasmine, I just put her name there, and then I have 2 very, very easy plug and drop little sentences over here. So the correct pronunciation of sounds like The correct way to say is And in these 2, I put a word that they're having difficulty with, and then usually a sentence that they're having grammatical issues with. So this is where, especially in the second one, it's very handy to write down what they're saying as they say it verbatim. Even if it's wrong, even if the sentence structure is completely off, even if the words they're using are incorrect, you want it to be incorrect so that you can show them what they're doing and then how to fix it. The second part, I tell them about something they've been doing so well, and here is just an example of what it looks like when I drop in a sentence straight from the text, and I'm able to plug that in and then write around it. Something I'm so impressed by, so something they do really well, perhaps it's something that they've improved upon, and I've noticed, and I've put that in as a thing that I'm like, wow, that was in your review/practice last week, and now it is way better, and I'm very proud of you. And then finally, something that they have to practice or review, because it's always necessary to put in something that they have to improve upon. There will probably be a lot of things that they need to improve upon, but just pick one, specific one, a big one. It could be sentence structure, etc. You've had lots of examples in your previous lessons. And then at the very end, you can just say, it was so good to see you again. I loved insert specific moment from class here. And then my tagline that I sign off with is always, can't wait to see you next week for more sticker prizes, because I give them stickers. So that is what it looks like beforehand. And then after, it looks really, really good, very specific to the student. So here, she had difficulty pronouncing close. So I put my own personal phonic written version of close. You can also use a copy paste of an official phonics dictionary online. Just specify if you're using American or British pronunciation. For this sentence, she happened to make a poorly grammaticized sentence. So I corrected it for her to show it the correct way. Then she did really well talking about the different fashion designs that she had during Showtime, one of the sections of her lessons, and she chose different clothes for the occasions. And then I write a specific sentence that she wrote, which I typed on the board. Then I say that it was a really great answer, and I note that it was excellent vocabulary as well. So that's the longest sentence that I have here. It's approximately 3 lines long. You don't want to make it a novel, because they're also second language learners, and their parents might not be very good at English to help them translate. So keep it simple, but keep it specific. Then I said that I was really impressed with her self-correction of her word, her pronunciation of knit. So she pronounced it with a K at first, but then she corrected herself, which was very impressive. And I told her nice work. Then she needed to practice email addresses. And then I used the example that we had in class, and then I wrote it out each word. So schoolhall@hotmail.com to show her how it's said. And then finally, we had a lot of really good moments in that class. So I talked about 2, where she showed me some new cards that she's been collecting. And then she also made this bag, which happened to be very appropriately linked to our fashion class. So I just told her she's very talented, because she was. And I sign off with a tagline. So even though it looks very empty and maybe not that personalized in the first part, you're going to see that it fills out and looks very personalized in the second. And I was worried at the beginning that maybe they wouldn't like that it's a repeated structure and pattern. But I find that it's actually easier for them to understand because they know what to look for. They understand the structure of their feedback, and it helps them improve all the more because they don't have to relearn how I'm teaching them. So that is the way that I do feedback. I highly recommend you do something similar because for me, this only takes maybe an extra 5 or 10 minutes at the end of my shift. And you don't want to be really spending more than that.